path separator.
Or the manifold. Hold all the valves in place. Group head cover. This is actually a pretty interesting piece because we've managed to stick a thermometer probe right where the water is. What's the finish on these?
Sandblast.
Looks great.
This is still prototype. We're just kind of feeling our way around the design, how it's all going to come together.
Where a tiny leak came through this hole, or these things always leak, and we just turn a screw or something and we fix it. This is aluminum, and I put it together thinking, okay, this is what I needed for this test. This matters.
Survives the bratty 5-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I think I pulled that a lot harder.
Or somebody who really needs coffee. The case working right also looks nice.
It's a big deal.
It does stay actually up on its own. I know that's the RJ11 accessory plug. AC in, radio. Okay, that's just kind of a plastic plate right there to it.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is on off up in the top right, so it's easy to get to.
This side of the board is kind of user accessible side. So we have LEDs over here. The Bluetooth module goes over here because it needs to face outwards. You can see up here, these are the solenoid connections, power coming in. Over here we have the pressure and the temperature sensors. Okay, this is the AC board. You can't tell from this picture that the AC board has actually got a core of aluminium all the way through the whole board, while it spreads the heat out. And if you look at the back of the board here, also the user accessible side of the board, which obviously we don't want to be accessible in any meaningful way because it's got high voltages on it. This is the connector where these signals from the CPU board come from. These are actually slots which are cut in the board. They go anywhere where there's a chance of a high voltage spark jumping across from one side of the chip to the other.
Probably the biggest change is the ability to isolate the electrical parts, the primary electrical parts, from the water path.
Steady progress. Looks like also we've got the power supply is now isolated. Another thing I see is the whole chassis has been lifted about 2 or 3 millimeters, it looks like, for airflow. It's looking closer to finished.
Is red positive, black negative. Yeah. This is the section which is the wiring. Okay, so we thread it through there.
Maybe have to be like this.
We've changed that to 2 single connectors. Black daisy chain one, it needs to go to
The fuse here. And then it goes in to the water heater.
that's the blue. So what Jeff is doing now is measuring the length that we need for the blue wire and a straight connector.
This is the temperature sensor on this. We'll go to the DC port.
What are you doing?
Secret control mode.
Ray and I are working on a very cool feature that we don't want to announce. We want to show it to you. But we're calling it flight mode, and that's all we're going to tell you.